Welcome back to Radical Rescue. So, now that we have Donnie, we should be able to go anywhere. Basically, when you get all 4 turtles, you can now the whole maze is yours to explore. So, from this point on, things become relatively simpler, because now you have absolutely no way you can't get to any place in particular, unless of course it's a door where you need a key, but that's what the bosses are for. And you can check what the bosses are in the map at all times. So, there you go. There you go, and there's, like we've talked about in the previous part, Donnie's mysterious way of climbing. That doesn't make any sense and should have been given to Raph. Alright, let's see. So, Dej, what do you think of this game so far?
It's really, it's really interesting. I do want to try it out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, obviously if you compare it to something more advanced like Super Metroid or something like that, obviously it's not going to hold up to that standard. But for what it is, and for the kind of for the platform that it is in, and for the fact that this obviously
it looks more functional than Return of Samus, because that game was too zoomed in for its own good.
Yeah. Hopefully Nintendo will get Mercury's team to remaster that game for the Switch.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Wait, Samus Returns? We already have a remake of it.
Well, that's it, but it's on the 3DS though. It could use a Switch port, I will argue. Especially now that the eShop is down, and you can't buy it digitally. So...
Still waiting on a Kid Icarus Uprising remaster.
Oh yeah, that too.
So people can actually know what it's like to play a game with normal controls. Yeah.
I mean,
like I said, so I can play it without breaking my wrists. Thank you very much.
I do wonder what Sora Limited is doing right now.
I do wonder. Like from what I understand, Sakurai is like the main deciding factor with Kid Icarus Uprising.
No, it's not him, because he's gone on record saying, "Yeah, I know people want to remaster, but there's some reasons preventing it from happening."
That could range from almost anything. Although I will say this though, it did seem like a weird decision. I recall Kid Icarus Uprising doing good.
Yeah, it did.
It did good, it's just that...
It revitalized the franchise, pretty much, gave people some boss redesigns, and there's plenty of rooms to make a sequel. And this time actually let Medusa be the main threat. Don't get me wrong!
It's just because after that, Sakurai just became busy in the Smash Mines, so...
Okay. I wouldn't really equate it to Smash Mines, since, to be fair, he chooses to do Smash each time, and he seems to actually enjoy that, unlike the Call of Duty mines, which are just like the purgatory.
Also, from my understanding, the game development wasn't really smooth, because it was hard to get people working on it. It's like finding staff and whatnot, so it's just a matter of...
I wonder, was it like staff didn't want to work on a Kid Icarus Uprising game at the time?
Maybe that, or it's just like, well, that's not our priority. It's kind of like the same reason why we haven't had a F-Zero games, because no one really wants to work on it, or no higher up has the power to make that happen properly.
Here's the thing though. Yeah, here's the thing though. They say, oh, nobody at Nintendo is interested in making one. Well, that's you know how we solved that back in the GameCube days? We got somebody else to make it, Sega specifically. I mean, there are ways to get around that problem.
But gaming is now expensive, so it's kind of hard. It's not.
Oh please, Nintendo's swimming in money.
No, wait. This is. I'm sorry, but this is the truth. It's not making a game isn't as easy as it was 20 years ago. It's like, oh, I want to make this game, but you also need someone else who is in charge, who is passionate, in order to help it, instead of a small group. It's kind of like the same reason why we didn't have a Pikmin game in 10 years. Like, yeah, people wanted it to happen, but they were also busy doing something else at the time that there was no driving force.
I wouldn't say that's always the case, though, since we see plenty of examples where companies force devs to make a game that they definitely don't want to make.
However, if that game is profitable, of course they're going to make it. That's why we have a COD game every year, because it's always the best-selling game every year.
Exactly.
I don't think every year. I think lately COD hasn't been doing as well, finally. And oh my god, just recently, IGN of all people actually gave the latest COD game a negative review. I mean, granted...
Well, it's story mode, at least. The multiplayer is still WIP.
Even though all the multiplayer maps are from Warzone.
Look, I said it before and I'll say it again. The writing was on the wall. I know people think that sometimes companies will always get away with everything, but time after time, we constantly see it when companies finally have legit
Look at this. I'm just explain
tried
this.
the well.
So in order to get this Alcantara, you need to use Leo's blockbuster. Then you have to use Raf's ability. There you go. So
And then you have to switch to Donnie to climb up.
exactly. So basically, this is a combination of all three turtles just to get this one heart.
I guess, to be fair, it shows the sense that they work together as a family.
Well, supposedly they should always stick together no matter what, even though they break that rule all the time.
Well, you see, now they're sticking together, and the best way to simulate that is by having you swap between them constantly. Okay, in a more modern...
It's like they're tagging it out.
Yeah, okay, in a more modern game, I could probably see it instantaneously changing to the turtle whose ability you're using, but since the colors are limited... Shoot, for all we know, I guess maybe that is what's happening on screen. They all just look the same color.
I'm looking forward to seeing how the upcoming TMNT Ronin game is coming. Is going to turn out.
Assuming, I'm hoping it doesn't get canceled or any weird shenanigans, because Embracer Group isn't doing too well right now.
Oh, what's the sitch there?
Who knew buying a whole bunch of studios with not enough about the money that you had to spend was actually a bad idea?
Tale as old as time. So what's
why do you think? Who are the guys who made Saints Row?
Dwebs, you probably know.
Volition?
That's it. Thank you.
Coalition shut down.
No, Volition.
No, Volition. Coalition are the developers of Gears of War.
Yeah. Right for it.
Speaking of which, I don't think we've heard anything on the Gears of War front since 5.
Supposedly, the last time we heard, the Coalition is apparently working on both Gear 6 and a new IP.
And how long have they been working on Gear 6 now?
I mean,
apparently fairly recently, because they wanted to do something else and that wasn't going through. So
I want them away from Gears, so that's fine by me. So
again, the parallels between Gears of War and Halo are insane. Original
dev
dev company.
Microsoft ruins everything.
No. Okay. Aside from that old joke, even if it is very applicable, to get more down to the nitty-gritty specifics, old company makes very successful first few installments, they leave. Then a company legit made specifically for that franchise is formed by Microsoft. They start off with something decent like a remaster collection of the original classics, to show that they do have what it takes.
In the Coalition's case, a remaster of the first one.
Yeah. And, a similar thing with Halo. And then, new company releases a game, maybe a spin-off or so. It's fine or just decent, nothing terrible. Then they make the first actual complete new installment of the series, and holy crap! And then the installment after that is even worse. No, seriously, Gears 4? Pretty bad. But then, Gears 5? Oh sweet Jesus Lord, that is terrible. Similar thing with Halo. Halo 4 was...
Go on.
Sorry.
No,
Halo
finish.
4 was a mess, but then Halo 5 just... absolutely crap the bed. Let's make it.
Even made by 343. I thought it was made by the same guy.
No, well, Halo Wars is made by a different developer. Yes, the 343 was overseeing the project. Yes, but technically the development was handled by somebody else. Yes.
Yeah, it was made by Vega's company that makes Total War, right?
I think so. Yes. Go on.
So by that logic, then, Jova, should we get a semi revival with their equivalent of Infinite next?
Well, supposedly not, because remember, Gears 5 left us on a cliffhanger, so they better at the very least go follow through with that.
It's really funny we're talking about this when Cliffy B recently said, Gears of War needs a God of War style reboot.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
the original parent being disappointed with how their children turned out.
Well, I can see his point, to be fair, but
No, he has a good point. It's just like, I mean, it's always one of the worst signs when the original dev who worked on you was pretty much going, oh my god, look how they massacred my boy, essentially.
I want to at the very least make sure, just to, because I know some people will, listening to this will wonder about this. For the record, everybody, it's one of those things where it's just like, when it comes to Gears 4 and 5, it's okay. Let me put it this way: if you separate them from all context and franchise-wise and even kind of investment in anything, yes, I guess they're perfectly serviceable cover-based shooters. But I mean.
Oh, we're not even talking about how bad the story is in that regard.
Yeah,
because...
I mean, if you just look at them as just cover-based shooters, where the gameplay functions, yeah, it functions. I mean, however, I don't really think that alone is worthy of applause. So.
And speaking of which, didn't Gears 3's multiplayer still going to be more popular than Gears 4 and 5?
Yes, that's a thing, Jova. Like me and Dwebs demonstrated in our playthrough of the Gears 5 DLC. Like me and Dwebs tried the multiplayer in 5, and we had a lot of issues. But when we tried the Gears 3 multiplayer, we had 0 issues. So it's amazing how this game from 2011, for whatever reason, has better online functionality than a game released in 2019.
But that's my point, though. That's my point, though. Even looking at it in a vacuum, technically Gears 3 has better multiplayer, and since Gears 3's multiplayer was still available, thanks to
the servers haven't been taken down because Microsoft is keeping them. Remember, even recently when they acquired Activision, the servers for some Call of Duty games got brought back online, or whatever it was, if I remember correctly.
Which I guess, to be fair to Microsoft, that's good on them for keeping those servers open for so long.
Well, remember, Jova, the whole now that they can put all Call of Duty games on Game Pass, it actually behooves them financially to do that, because that way people can keep playing these games online, and as a result, they keep subscribed to Game Pass so they can keep the online going. So from a financial standpoint, it makes a lot of sense, because it's all about Game Pass, as you know. So,
what I love about how that move backfired was that it actually made it that the multiplayer on Gears 5 failed, making that game a complete failure. Because a lot of times games like that could maybe fall back on, oh, well, our multiplayer is popular, so clearly that's just fine. Except, nope! Player-based dwarfed by Gears 3 still. A much older game.
On the topic of company buyouts, I forgot to mention, Digital Foundry was bought by Atari.
I think you mean Digital Eclipse.
Digital Eclipse. Sorry, wow.
I was about to say, the YouTube channel got bought out.
Sorry. Wait.
Yes, Digital Eclipse. Well, Digital Eclipse actually released a statement on the matter, saying that they love apparently working on Atari 50. They got a strong relationship with Atari, and apparently it made a lot of sense for them to join forces because they had similar goals. And according to Digital Eclipse, they're still going to be able to work on non-Atari projects. So according to them, it's still business as usual at Digital Eclipse. Nothing changes in terms of like, because people are asking, are you only going to work on Atari collections from this point on? And they're like, no. We're still going to work on plenty of stuff with other publishers. In fact, we actually have plenty of projects right now involving other publishers. This is mostly just a business transaction that will make things easier for us.
I know it's
and honestly,
Night Dive Studios, the guys who's been doing the remasters of FPSs.
Mm-hmm.
Granted that situation makes sense, seeing as how Atari's console making days are well behind them.
Yeah.
So eventually they would run out of games to remaster and recollect. So buy Digital Eclipse and then license them out to other companies to make games for those.
Basically. Go on.
I mean, hell, it's not even Atari. It's Infogrames dressed up as Atari.
Yeah, basically, it's just using the name. Atari.
Yeah, basically. What it boils down to is that Digital Eclipse now has a larger publisher that can keep them afloat financially, and as a result, it becomes a lot easier for them to not have to worry as much about keeping the lights open. So.
It's always interesting thinking of companies buying companies and then essentially wearing their name like a skinwalker, essentially.
Like THQ Nordic.
Yes! Which, to give them credit, they were doing some pretty good stuff reviving some old games and making sequels to them, too.
And now we don't know what's going to happen.
I'm
What
hoping.
happened with THQ
Again, they're
Nordic?
owned by Embracer Group.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so it goes up the ladder, which is a shame because THQ Nordic were doing good, so it's about the parent company screwing up, isn't it?
I mean, they were always owned by Embracer Group since day one.
Oh. It's weird. We constantly hear... honestly, THQ Nordic seemed like the man behind the man, but I guess Embracer Group is the man behind the man behind the man.
Yeah, they also own Dark Horse Comics.
Oh.
We're the largest comic book company in America.
And they have not made video games based off of those IPs, surprisingly.
So Digital Eclipse is probably going to continue to work on other collection, the same kind of collections they've been working on. Because if you go to the website, they even talk about how they're all about preserving retro games. So.
Oh hell, that Atari collection. That's how I played Cybermorph for the first time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Where did you learn to fly? But
Going back to the Gears and Halo thing, though, I swear, though, it's insane how much they parallel each other. Halo 4 was a mess, and then Halo 5 comes along, making people say, you know what, maybe we had it good with Halo 4. And let me just emphasize, Halo 4 ain't good with its story. Ain't really that good. But Halo 5 is just that bad.
I can't speak for Halo. I can't speak for Halo myself, but I can speak for Gears, and I totally agree with a lot of hardcore Gears veterans that I've seen online who equate the situation to saying that Microsoft is to Gears what Disney is to Star Wars.
It's sad that I honestly find the best Coalition game of the trilogy, let's call it, to be Judgment.
Well, actually, Judgment was not made by the Coalition. Judgment was made by Epic Games, actually. Judgment was made by was the final game made by Epic Games before. This was before Microsoft bought the IP. Yes, it was. However, the reason you think that, Jove, is that Judgment was Tom Bissell's debut in the Gears franchise. So,
right, and he's pretty much the main dev behind.
Well, not the main dev, like the main writer specifically. Technically, the main dev behind the Coalition era up until this point had been Rod Ferguson, but he left after Gears 5. So.
I really forgot that Judgment was actually an Epic Games.
What happened was after Gears 3, Epic Games saw the writing on the wall, and they saw that making these games was going to get more expensive. So what they did is, while the PS4 and the Xbox One were still not out, they thought, okay, we can squeeze one more Gears game out for the 360, and after that, we just sell the franchise. And as we know, they went on to make Fortnite, and that's all they make now. As well as the Unreal Engine stuff, but
apparently Gears 5 will be running. Gears 6 will be running.
Well, the original reason why Gears of War was even created to begin with, that was to be a showcase for the Unreal Engine. So that's kind of the whole point.
It's like poetry; it rhymes.
So even if Microsoft did something similar to what they did with the Free for Free, where they had them create their own engine instead of just using Unreal 5 or 4. That would be even more egregious than in Halo, because the whole point of this franchise is to serve as a showcase for the Unreal Engine. That was the whole reason it was created to begin with.
Well, now at least, speaking in terms of the fate of Halo, at least, now they have Call of Duty.
And apparently, moving forward, Free for Free has announced that recently that they're going to start working with Unreal Engine, which is what they should have done with it to begin with. But no, but like. So what happened after that, Jova? After finishing Judgment, that's when they sold the Gears IP to Microsoft, because
Tom
Microsoft.
Bissell stuck around for the newer games. That's why Judgment feels pretty much like an unofficial member of the Coalition trilogy. Well, I guess it's not a trilogy. Let's call it the Coalition era.
Yeah, but it was made sure because right after Gears 3, Cliffy B left Epic Games and he took quite a few staff with him, and the remaining staff were the ones that worked on Judgment. So that game was already post Cliffy B.
Remind me, did the Coalition work on that spin-off of Gears, the one that I think stars like
Gears Tactics.
I think it's Marcus's father and Kate's mother.
No. But
Gears Tactics.
Gears Tactics is made by I think it's the okay. If it's not the same studio who made Guerrilla Wars, it's a studio that I know that's a studio
It was a collaboration between the Coalition and Splash Damage.
That's it. Thank you. It's basically an RTS in the Gears franchise. It's and story-wise, it's okay. It's perfectly serviceable.
So is that like Tom Bissell's best script?
No, actually, I don't think Tom Bissell worked on it. Actually,
he did.
oh, did he? Well, congrats, because that one is not terrible. It's okay.
Okay, better or worse than Judgment
the most recent game the Coalition made was that they co-developed The Matrix Awakens.
Yeah, the Unreal, that recent Unreal 5. Well, remember, Jova, like
right, yeah.
Unreal. It's an Unreal 5 showcase, and they have a lot of experience with Unreal, so I guess it makes sense that you would get the Coalition to help out. I guess
their experience is unreal.
For as bad as for as much as I don't like Gears 4 and 5, they at the very least look great.
Oh yeah, like
I don't care much for the art direction that the Coalition went with, where they just made the games look like Uncharted, even though Gears of War is supposed to look different than that. But whatever.
Like, okay, for a different era, I can get a different art style, but we all ended up having our issues with the looks of those games because of stuff here and there. And which is weird, because ironically, despite the game looking more colorful, I'd argue the tone was way more dour in the newer games than in the older games.
I don't know if I can agree with that. I mean, remember the shit that Dawn goes through in Gears 2 and 3. I mean...
Well, okay. I think a better way to put it is like, well, the mood definitely seems a lot more down, and this is because, well, the newer games do that usual shtick of, oh, this is how these guys are now, and of course Marcus lost his wife, has a troubled relationship with his son, who can
and
die
now,
if you so choose to.
Alright, there you go. Did you remind me, who's this?
I have no idea.
Wait.
It looks like a T-Rex mixed with a snake.
Hold on, were they referencing this in the 2012 series when they turned Karai into a mutant? Because that looks a lot like her mutant.
I mean, because that's the weird part, because I know most of the villains, like Dirtbag and stuff like that, right? Like, but this one, I don't get who it is.
Apparently it's based off a toy.
Of course.
Well, there you go then.
And the toy is?
And yeah, this particular boss can be quite the pain because it's constantly attack. Like every time you get close to hit it,
it has a gun in its mouth.
Yeah, it has a gun in its mouth. It also can.
His name is Scaletail.
Scaletail.
And as part of his mutant abilities, having a gun in his mouth.
Apparently.
Okay, what was the use thinking with this one?
I do not know.
Yeah, she's just a toy.
Wait, is it a he or she?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to have a character.
Well, I mean, they bothered to create this thing, so hopefully there is.
Don't worry, I've got its. Don't worry, guys. For your convenience, I have found its backstory.
Go on.
All right, go on.
Bunch of developers made it because they couldn't think of a better boss. The end.
Wait, hold on, let me read up its description on the wiki. Krang's tired of taking on the teams without professional help, so he brought in a new low-life bad guy. And when it comes to low-life, no one's lower than Scaletail. He's known as the highest-paid bounty hunter from Dimension X. Scaletail never fails to bag his bounty, and now he's after the turtles. This sleazeball is no slouch because he's fully armed. Okay, so they're more like tentacles. Scaletail's got everything a belly-sliding psycho needs to cash in on the turtle teams. That venomous backpack holds more than just lunch. And be careful with that, the wattage whip. It's electrified. Oh,
What?
and the most exciting aspect about Scaletail, he can swallow the turtles whole. So be on the lookout for Scaletail, the dangerously digestible double-dealing snake.
Take a shot every
where's
time
the
they
bit
say
that-
Skilltail. That
So
description.
where's the bit that explains why he has a gun in his mouth?
He's a bounty hunter from Dimension X.
Because
I'll give him credit. They actually made an action figure for this guy. Holy cow!
Yeah. Scaletail.
He was made as a toy first. That's what I'm getting.
someone in the
There's
marketing,
like a lot of characters from the 80s show.
someone in the marketing thought to themselves, you know what, we need a fucking snake that has a fucking gun on its mouth.
We did get something of a
Genius.
reference. We did get something of a reference to this in the 2012 TV series with the Scaletail clan.
There you go, right
Like
there.
I mentioned,
That's cool.
Karai gets a mutant form that looks a lot like that one. So
I guess so.
maybe that's what they were referencing with
Actually,
that.
yeah, because even the wiki is like this combobulation. Hamatsu Miwa, whose mutant form resembles Scaletail. Rudolph
Karai, yeah.
Rudolph Obrato, another snake fiend villain. Snailtail clan, a gang of mutant lizards in the mutant apocalypse timeline. Okay.
Scaletail, perhaps one of the most mysterious characters in the franchise.
I guess so. Alright, everybody. In the next part, we finally defeat Cyber Shredder and save Master Splinter in April. So, see you then.
Oh, in record time.
So yeah.
Bye.